Welcome in, one and all. We are back, baby. It's The Future is Female.
Woo!
Gabrielle Ducharme here with Nicole Pinter.
What's up?
What's up, y'all? It's been a very long summer. We have been anxious to get back on the air. We are excited. Our third co-host, shout out to Saran and Raboyne.
We miss you.
Yeah, we miss you, girl. She's living it up right now in Spain. She's going to be studying abroad this semester, but she will be back with us in the winter. For now, though, it's the dynamic duo, Nicole Pinter, Gabby Ducharme. Y'all, welcome into The Future is Female. Nicole, how was your summer, man?
You know, I won't lie, it was pretty good. Pretty chill. I didn't have a job. I sat around my house and did next to nothing. I did start playing tennis this summer, however. That was fun. I'm getting better. I still can't beat my mom. Shout out to you, Mom. Still beat me in straight sets. It was easy for her.
Hey, if you want to be the best, you got to get trained by the best,
beat
right?
the best. Swam for the first 2 months, so it felt really good to get back in the water after I had been out for 9 months. Actually got kind of close to my best times, so I'll take it. And then, yeah, my source of income was babysitting. So
Nice.
Oh, and I went to Chicago Bears training camp. That was cool. Pat O'Donnell signed my football, and got a picture with him and Prince Amukamara. Shout out to them. And went to Cubs games. And they're infuriating right now. But how was your summer?
It was wonderful. It was pretty chill like that. I worked a good amount. I was a swim coach and I was like lifeguarding and stuff, which was really fun. Celebrated my birthday, which was awesome.
Happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Actually, I posted something for you too, but happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, happy belated birthday, like to the listeners out there, right? Yeah, I mean, I coached and I swam and stuff. I interned as well. I was interning at a college in my hometown, which was fun, and went to Canada, which was really awesome, and then also
Canada's cool.
Yeah, Canada is cool, especially the West Coast part. I like that part a lot. And then my sister graduated college too. Shout out to Maddie. She's killing it right now. Just started her first day at Slate Magazine in Washington, D.C. I'm so used to saying Los Angeles. She worked at NPR this summer, and now she's working at Slate Magazine. Just moved out there on Wednesday, so shout out to her. Yeah, you know, just hung out with the fam, really. Hung out with some old friends, reconnected with people. It was honestly, it was really nice. It was a good summer. But I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be back on the air. Happy to be back here. You know, it was a long summer. My voice was really feeling it. Like, I'm like, yeah, I need to get back on Blaze. Like, let's go. So
It was a long summer though, but it was good to be back home. I still miss my dogs naturally.
Yeah, I actually missed my cat too. I mistaked my stuffed animal for my cat last night.
That's really tragic.
Oh,
that's
it is
really
tragic.
tragic.
It is tragic. It's very tragic, but it's okay. Speaking of summer, it was a long summer. It was jam-packed with stuff that happened. Can you just give me, what were your top sports moments of the summer?
Easily my top sports moment. Both are tennis, by the way. Coco Gauff in Wimbledon, outstanding. Wimbledon and the U.S. Open, but Wimbledon actually took place over the summer, so that's what I'm going with. She, in the third round, had a really, really tough match against Polona Hercog. I hope I said that name right. From Slovenia. She lost the first set 3-6, and she looked like she was out of it. She looked like she was done. She was tired. You know, she had played Venus, and she had played 2 very tough matches. And she grew up watching Venus and Serena Williams, by the way. So that's, excuse me, that's why it was so huge when she beat Venus. Like, it was just really cool. But she looked down and out, and then she took it to basically a tie break, won the second set 9-7. Or 7-6, 9-7, and then 7-5 in the third set. It was absolutely outstanding. The next round, however, she was taken down by Simona Halep in, oh my god, you can tell it's been a while, in 2 sets, straight sets. But, I mean, Simona Halep is just so strong. It's so hard to beat her. I'll even throw in, actually, no, we're going to talk about the U.S. Open, so I take that back. My second one is, again, Wimbledon. Sports in summer are actually really fun, guys. If you just look, Djokovic versus Federer has to be one of the highlights of the summer. I mean, 5 sets. This match just kept going. I know not a lot of people like Djokovic. I don't know if you know that. Not a lot of people like him.
Oh yeah, I do.
So almost everyone was rooting for Federer. This would have been his 21st Grand Slam title.
Good Lord.
He dropped the first set, 5-7, tiebreak, 6-1 next set, dropped the next set in a tiebreak again, 4-7, fourth set, 6-4, and then a tiebreak. This did go to tiebreak, but so the new rules this year are, it's after, so 6-6 in any other set other than the last one goes to tiebreak, right? First to 7. Mm-hmm. New rule is that once you get to 12, so they keep playing games back and forth till they get to 12.
Yeah.
Which I think is lame, but I'm going to call it the John Isner rule because that poor guy has been in every single match that goes like 6 hours or longer. So it was very close. Djokovic took it 13-12, 7-3. It was just an amazing match. It was an amazing Wimbledon, really, all across the board. And the U.S. Open, too, which we'll get to. Tennis has been really good to us, and I'm really going to miss it while it's gone.
Oh, yeah.
But those are my moments, Coco Gauff and Federer and Djokovic in Wimbledon.
Shout out to freaking Coco Gauff. You are 15 years old.
Oh, yeah, and my mom
would.
She's insane. My mom would be mad if I didn't mention that my nickname was Coco when I was younger.
Oh, okay.
Okay. She'd be mad if I didn't mention that. Yes, my nickname growing up was Coco, along with Pipsqueak, if you might have noticed by my Instagram name. Yes, that comes
Pip.
from...
Oh, that explains
that
it.
comes from being called Pipsqueak when I was younger, and it just stuck. So I'm just Pips.
I always wanted to ask you, why is
There's your
name
origin story.
Pip
And I
Swims?
refuse to change it. That's why it's Pips. Because Pips, my nickname, swims, I swim, and then 6 was my lucky number in soccer.
Nice.
There's your origin story of me, Nicole Pinter.
That's awesome. Shout out to Nicole Pinter. Follow her on Instagram, guys. Pipswims6. She's got some great content on there.
Gabby, what were your first 3? I took up a lot of time there.
Oh my gosh. NBA free agency.
What a doozy that was.
Wow, what a fun time that was. When the Anthony Davis trade went down, I actually was not, I wasn't paying attention because I was working at, a huge soccer tournament that my family helps to put on every year.
Yeah.
And it's so I was invested in that, and then
But you saw it coming, right?
Yeah. So I
Okay,
saw it coming, but then,
it's still when it happens.
I heard this person start screaming on the soccer field. They were freaking out, and they were like, "Oh my gosh! Oh my God! We got AD! We got AD!" And I'm like, I look at him and I'm like, "Lakers?" I just kind of point to him. I'm like, "Lakers?" He's like, "Yeah, we got AD!" And he turns around. He's wearing a Lakers hat. It's some dad from I think he said he was from central Los Angeles or something like that. He had driven all the way out to Huntington Beach for a soccer tournament, which, let me tell you, it's about an hour and a half drive each way. So crazy. I started flipping out after that. I wore my Lakers jersey the next day.
But you know who you didn't get?
Do
you know who it is?
Oh, yes.
Kawhi Leonard. Going to the
yeah.
superior LA team in
Excuse?
the Clippers.
Okay.
Sorry, I have to get my Lakers slander in early. Yeah.
Very early, the first 10 minutes of the show.
I will admit I'm sad.
The first show.
Sorry, I'm stealing your thunder. I will admit I am sad he's leaving Toronto, but please go on.
Yes, that's the other thing. Free agency mayhem, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. I was up at 11:30 at night one night, and I was so sick. I got really sick this summer for a month straight, where I just had a horrible cold, and it just wasn't very fun. But then my buddy Emil FaceTimes me at 11:30 at night, and he's like, "Check Woj on Twitter." So I go and I check it, and it's the classic Woj bomb. Kawhi has signed with the Clippers, and then 15 minutes later, it's Paul George has traded to the Clippers. So absolute insanity. I'm so happy that that's my hometown. Those two teams, probably there's a chance they could face off in the Western Conference Finals.
That'd be amazing. Wow, that
oh
was,
my gosh.
Whew,
could you
quite a
imagine?
voice crack.
Could you imagine 7 games at Staples Center? Because that's what you're looking at. That's exactly what you're looking at.
Would you go? If you could.
I don't know. If I could, I totally would.
Yeah, it'd probably be crazy expensive, I'm sure.
And it also just depends on when we get out of school and stuff.
That
if I'm gonna be
yeah.
home for summer and stuff.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. If honestly, but no, by that point I probably should be home for the summer.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, if I could, I would, because the name we didn't mention, of course, LeBron James is still on the Lakers. Of course, he wasn't a part of this year's free agency mayhem, but
Can I bring up one other trade that you didn't write down here? Russ to Houston, your thoughts?
Oh man, interesting.
And Chris Paul kind of in limbo right now.
Chris Paul in limbo. Russ to the Rockets. My thing is, I don't see it working because they're both so ball dominant. Like, I know, shout out to James Harden, he went to ASU, but they're so ball dominant. Russ,
it's gonna be so funny.
Russ averages a triple-double, but it's because he always has the ball in his hands, and he's always used to having the ball in his hands, especially after KD left. Like, I'm trying to imagine how that dynamic works. Like, how both of these players who average 35-plus points a game, who go a million miles an hour, don't, like Harden is a really good three-point shooter, but Russ isn't very good. So, like, I'm trying to imagine how that works. I
know it'll be fun to watch, though.
Well, I mean, my question is who takes the back seat? Like, between Russ and Harden. I feel like Russ would, right? Because it's Harden's team.
Yeah, Russ, yeah, I would think. But, like you said, both are ball hogs.
Yeah.
So nothing's really...
You're talking about the player who's averaged a triple-double for the last 3 seasons in the NBA, and it's kind of made the triple-double look a little bit more minuscule when you look at what his shooting percentage is behind the three-point line. And when you look at what happens to him in April and May, because he just burns out. And shout out to both players. You know, Russ was a UCLA alum. I grew up watching that guy. You know, Harden, obviously ASU alum. We go to school here. Shout out to both of them, but, like, I don't know. I think it's going to fizzle out so quickly, and I think it's going to be hysterical to watch.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page there, so we can have really fun with that.
Oh,
really
yeah.
a lot of fun with that.
You know, stay tuned for that. Give it, like, 4 or 5 months. We'll be on that topic, like, almost every week for sure. And then, of course, my second one is Antonio Brown. Ha! Fun! Pittsburgh Steelers.
This is so much fun.
Oakland Raiders until, 2 days ago. Now, New England Patriots. Just the way that I thought it was just so interesting the way he utilized social media to, basically define what was going to happen in his life for the next, few years. Like, he gave up, how much money did he give up when he asked the Oakland Raiders to release him?
Well, so if they were to suspend, oh my God, I put the words together. Today's been rough. If they were to suspend and fine him, his $30 million.
I like suspend better. Thank you.
I just wanted to make this quick. Yeah. So those two things would void his $30 million guaranteed. So that's why he wanted out in the first place, because his $30 million guaranteed with the fine he was about to get from the Raiders, that $30 million guaranteed was gone, and he was gonna, probably play Monday, but he wouldn't have $30 million guaranteed.
Good
so
Lord.
That's why he, it's so funny too, because I woke up Saturday morning, the first post I saw on Instagram, and usually I go to Twitter first, mind you. I go to Instagram first this day, and the first post I see is AB saying, "Release me, Raiders," and I'm like, wait. What's going on? 15 minutes later, he's a Patriot, and I mean, as your resident Tom Brady fan, boo me all you want, go blue, but the Patriots are going to be so fun. There's no reason they don't win the Super Bowl.
Your loyalties are in question right now.
Tom Brady went to Michigan. Tom Brady plays on the Patriots, and so does Chase Winovich now, too. I have so many reasons to root for the Patriots, too.
Two? Or instead of your Chicago Bears?
Well, no. We'll get to that later. If we're talking about...
Let's be real.
If we're talking my team's lists in NFL, it goes Bears, Lions, Patriots.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, let's be real. No matter who you're a fan of, you gotta admit, the Antonio Brown stuff that the stuff he was pulling this summer, it was entertaining to watch. It was incredibly entertaining.
He could have made Hard Knocks on his own. And I think that's something we forget. Hard Knocks was in Oakland this year. Then they left just a couple of days early before really the juiciest of this stuff went down, which was the week they left, of course.
Hard Knocks is shaking their heads right now, wondering.
They're like, why?
Like,
well,
HBO
I mean,
is
they have to. They have to leave at that time.
I know, exactly.
But, I mean,
it's honestly,
his drama. I mean, you can call it what you want. Not a good example for the kids. It's a business. Give me a break. I think he's, as bad as it is, I think he's a genius. I think this whole thing was funny. If his goal was to get to New England in the first place, he's a genius. What else do we call him? I don't know.
If his goal was to gain traction on social media and gain followers and likes and just become a social media guru overnight, mission accomplished, my friend.
I think he did everything he wanted to this summer, if you ask me.
I mean, honestly,
the only misstep was that he actually had to go to training camp for the Raiders. That was the only thing. That was the only setback.
Sometimes you got to give a little to take a lot, right?
Sometimes, well said.
Oh,
well said.
Well, I mean, honestly, so there was these were two sports that were out of season, but then, you have the Women's World Cup, which you'll notice Nicole only said 2 things, and I only said 2 things because we're both in agreement that this is the biggest thing that happened this summer, was U.S. Women's World Cup in Paris, France.
It happened so long ago, though. I was yeah, that happened this year. It's just,
I still think about it like almost every day. Like my sister Maddie and I, we were like I got my sister to watch sports this summer because of this Women's World Cup team.
I actually hate to admit, but I did miss the final because I was driving home from my grandparents' lake house. So I did miss the final, but I watched almost every other game because I still love soccer. So I can't believe we're saying U.S. women's soccer is a controversial topic, but it is in today's world, and not really. But when you look at it, apparently it is. Gabby, just give us your rundown on everything you have here, because it is actually written under your name. So go for it.
Well, here's the thing: you start off, of course, with the talent on the field. This is a team that 20 years ago, you have Mia Hamm, you have...
I love Mia Hamm.
Yeah, you have these cultural icons.
Hope Solo.
Hope Solo. You have cultural icons.
We'll ignore everything else other than the fact that she played soccer. Go on.
You have
but
these
we'll acknowledge it. Go on.
We'll acknowledge it.
But we will for purpose of what we're talking about right now, we're gonna ignore it.
Yeah,
Go
exactly.
On.
But you have these cultural icons who absolutely dominate on the field and then use that dominance for something bigger than themselves. They are sacrificing their careers by going out and saying, we want equal pay and we will threaten to not play until you give us equal pay. And it's like, you look at some of the girls on that team like Mallory Pugh. Mallory Pugh was like 17, 18 years old when they went to the Olympic Games back in 2016. And Mal Pugh even came out and said, I want nothing less than an Olympic gold, or than a World Cup gold medal. I want to win it. Because when they went to the Olympics 3 years ago, obviously she kind of got off, they didn't get off to the best start. They ended up losing, I think, to Germany. But just complete dominance by a team that deserves...
Wait, you mean the last World Cup?
In Rio 2016...
Oh, you're talking about Rio. Okay.
Yeah. From Rio, the growth that they made as a team.
Okay.
And then, of course, Megan Rapinoe being the pink-haired goddess that she is. My older sister, Maddie, was absolutely in love with her. I was absolutely in love with her. She captured the hearts of this country, and rightfully so, because of the performance she put on, against Thailand, and the performance that they put on in the finals and everything. It was iconic. It was absolutely iconic. These moments are what I'm going to tell my kids about one day. I'm going to say, when I was in college,
Carly Lloyd sipping the tea.
Oh my lord!
If you didn't see our Twitter,
the real tea.
If you didn't see our Twitter, I did change the profile picture to that for at least a month. I feel like.
I think is that still our profile picture? I don't remember.
I changed it back.
Yeah, you changed it back to the.
But I left it up for a month to the logo. But I changed that for. Go back. You'll find the tweet. I said, "Hello, this is our profile picture now." That's all.
Yeah, that's all.
That's it. That's a tweet.
And that's the tea. Literally, it's just. And then you talk about the scoring and the celebrations and stuff like that over Thailand. They won 13-0 in the opening match. I mean, this is just a team that knows no bounds. They don't believe that they should be stopped. They don't believe that there should be a cap on their greatness, both on and off the soccer field. Because they're not stopping now, obviously, with the equal pay statutes and stuff like that. They're on a world tour. And honestly, funny little story, kind of a sad story. The day before I was going to Canada, they were playing in they were playing at the Rose Bowl, and I was gonna go with my sister. But then when I realized how late of a night it was gonna be, I ended up having to miss the game because I had an early flight out to Victoria for national championships, which was kind of really, really sad. I watched the game like on TV and stuff. It was amazing. But honestly, just a really, really big like landmark summer by this Team USA.
It was dominant, and if you look at it, the only teams they struggled against were in the quarterfinal and semifinal, and that was France and England. And it's not even that they struggled; it's just France and England are good teams, especially France. They were the team I was most worried about going into the World Cup. And both France and England played their hearts out, but the U.S., it just proved to be too much. I loved every second of it. I think we can't ignore the elephant in the room. What did you think about... I think... I'll say what I think first, but the scoring and celebrations over Thailand, I don't think are a problem. I think maybe past the 8th goal, I might have had a little bit of a problem with the celebrations. That whole act like you've been there before, to me, I hate that argument. I don't care. Have fun. I did think, some of them were like maybe a little much, but if you don't want them to celebrate, don't let them score. And I think Thailand owned up to that. They're like, yeah, we shouldn't have let them score. Yeah. So, that's my take. It was the same take I have with Cam Newton and his celebrations back in 2016. Yeah. If you don't want them to celebrate, don't let them score. It's not that
absolutely.
hard.
And honestly, like my one thought on it is, they always say it's like act like you've been there before. I've got news for you. If you've been there before, you've probably been there before one time in your entire life, and you'll probably only be there a maximum of 3 times in your entire life.
You never know what could happen in the next 4 years.
You literally don't know. Not everybody is going to be Mia Hamm or, Megan Rapinoe. Carly Lloyd or Alex Morgan and play in 3 or 4 World Cups. That's not how the sport works. It comes
Was it Carly Lloyd that substituted or Alex Morgan? Now you're making me think.
I'm pretty sure it was Carly Lloyd.
That's what I thought too. Sorry, go on.
Well, anyways, it's just frustrating because it's like you look at people and you say like, this is greatness on display. You need to celebrate it and appreciate it while you have it before you regret not appreciating it while it was there, because that's what you're going to end up doing. You're going to end up living with regret that you didn't appreciate it while it was there. This team is greatness on display, and I pray that this country appreciates it while we have it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We are going to take a very quick, roughly just over a minute break. We'll be right back for you right here on Blaze Radio, blazeradioonline.com.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger.
Welcome back. Real quick break right there. Gabrielle Ducharme here with Nicole Pinter. We are the Future's Female. Y'all, it's our first show of the year. We're really excited to be back. We just spent the last segment really just talking about breaking down what happened this summer, and now we're going to go right into the biggest tennis tournament of the year, probably, or one of the biggest tennis tournaments, the U.S. Open. Nicole, you want to take the lead on this one?
For sure. Well, men's final, they finished up yesterday. Women's final finished up Saturday. And Bianca Andreescu is the story of the women's tournament this year. She took down a resurgent Serena Williams in straight sets, 6-3, 7-5. And this is, if you watched the match, this crowd was really for Serena. And Bianca Andreescu is Canadian. That's not... I'm just saying it because...
But Shout out to Canada.
But, so it was a crowd mostly for Serena. And it got really close. Andreescu, I can't remember off the top of my head if she had a couple match points, but she was up 5-1. All of a sudden, it was 5-4. 5-2, 5-3, 5-4, 5-5. And then Andreescu took over, won 7-5. And this is... just some quick facts for you. This is her first Grand Slam title and just her third tour title. Tour being like what you see Cincinnati or, Rhode Island.
I'm curious, how old is she?
She's 19.
Oh my gosh, I'm older than her. That makes me sad.
I am incredibly uncomfortable, but it's amazing. Andreescu was ranked number 152 at the beginning of the year. She's now 8-0 against top 10 opponents with this win. 8-0. So this past weekend, she took number 5 spot. Ashley Barty regains the top spot again after Naomi Osaka's loss. It was really
love Naomi Osaka though.
And speaking of Osaka, her and Coco Gauff had another incredible match. Even it was very one-sided, but they had an incredible match. post-game interview, we are having problems with the studio. I'd love to play it for you, but we can't. Just look it up. It's a great interview. Naomi Osaka wanted Coco Gauff, after her loss, to do the interview with her, which you don't see a lot. It was really special. And especially Naomi Osaka, who's had a really rough year up until this point. Other storylines, Serena now has 101 wins at the U.S. Open. Incredible. She's been doing this for 20 years, and she's not stopping. There's no question that she's not the GOAT. So it is really cool when we see 19-year-olds, 15-year-olds, Andreescu and Gauff, starting to come onto their own. And really start to take over. And we've seen it on the men's side a lot, actually. A lot more than we've seen it on the women's as of late. Also of note on the girls' side is Taylor Townsend, American. She had a great run, too. Made it, I want to say, just didn't get to the quarterfinals, I believe. Maybe a little bit lower. She had a great round, too. In the men's side, Rafael Nadal, I love to call him Rafa. He's one of my favorites. Rafael Nadal beats Daniel Medvedev. It's Medvedev, by the way. You ignore the D there. Medvedev. I'm saying it for you again. In 5 sets. Took nearly 5 hours. And Nadal controlled most of the match up until that third set, where Nadal had 2 match points in that third set. Dropped it to Medvedev, 5-7. Dropped the next set 4-6, deciding 5th set. And again, Medvedev would not back down. It was another great match. A lot of great matches in this U.S. Open. It was really exciting. So Nadal won 7-5, 6-3, 5-7, 4-6, 6-4. And this is now Nadal's 19th Grand Slam victory. And so he's now 1 away from Roger Federer of all-time Grand Slam titles. Just for reference, Novak Djokovic is at 16. So they're all right there. It's really all about the top 3, which is Nadal, Federer, and I was going to say Medvedev, and Djokovic. And it's really been them. I mean, Djokovic won Wimbledon. So it's top 3 still in the men's side. Women's side, we're seeing the youngins come up
I know,
and start to take down the veterans.
What I see with these young girls, like you talk about Coco and Naomi, and you talk about Bianca.
Taylor Townsend, I don't know how old she is, but I know she's young.
But these girls grew up watching Serena,
which is insane.
They are inspired by what they watched when they were 6 and 7 and 8 years old, and now they're playing against the GOAT. That is absolutely incredible to me. I watched a little bit of the U.S. Open. Good Lord, Serena's a queen, because the idea that you can still dominate on a tennis court after having a baby and being in, how old is she now? Is she in her 30s?
37, I want to say.
Yeah, the idea that she can still dominate and keep up with talent like Coco Gauff and Bianca Andreescu, it's incredible, because she's setting the bar for greatness so high that
she's already set it.
Like she set the bar for greatness so high that future generations are only going to benefit from it, because the talent and the training that kids like Coco Gauff had, I mean, it's second to none. Like, even Serena, I don't even think had that type of training when she was a kid. And I remember when I would talk to my mom about, like, Serena and Venus, like, the Williams sisters for, like, 5 seconds were compared to the Ball brothers in that, like, they pulled LaMelo Ball, like, out of school and stuff, like the family did. Of course, you saw how all of that has worked out. But, like, the Williams sisters were bred to go pro and be great, and I don't know if anybody could have predicted how dominant Serena has been, but you see kind of a similar storyline with, like, Coco Gauff. She's, 15 right now? I mean, the sky's the limit for this kid. She could be playing for the next 22 years on the professional circuit. The idea of that is just, it's jaw-dropping to me. It's quite incredible to think about how a 15-year-old is able to keep up with a legend like Serena Williams, that this kid wasn't even alive when Serena started playing professionally. Serena's been playing longer professionally than Coco's even been on this planet.
And, yeah, just like you said, it's amazing what Serena's done. But it doesn't, and her resurgence in that match was incredible. Let it not take away from Bianca Andreescu and really Coco Gauff to that point. Both absolutely amazing. I really can't wait to see what they do next year. Coco Gauff just keeps getting a little bit further each time.
Oh, yeah.
She's getting better. I mean, her match against Naomi Osaka, Osaka was just stronger. That's what it came down to. Osaka was bigger and stronger. And there's just no question about it. I mean, just to wrap up before we move on to college football, amazing U.S. Open, amazing year of tennis. Really, I'm really excited for next year, which in the springtime we'll get to, of course. A little bit of it, at least. But, again, look up the Coco Gauff Naomi Osaka interview. It's really something special. Bianca Andreescu, keep an eye on her and Gauff. Daniel, I think I'm saying his name right. Daniel Medvedev would not go away. The race for Grand Slam titles between Rafa, Djokovic, and Federer is going to be something special. Keep an eye on that. Even though we are seeing the youngins come up and start to beat some of the men, I mean, really the ones that haven't gone away are Djokovic and Nadal. Federer's lost a little bit. I really want him to win one more.
Yeah.
We'll see. He hasn't looked great lately. Of course, Djokovic retired because of an injury. Naturally, fans didn't like that. Like I said, he's not a fan favorite. But that's a U.S. Open in a nutshell.
But I find it interesting that it's like the U.S. Open is like the tale of two storylines. On the men's side, it's all about the greatness of the all-time greats, like this three-headed monster of, Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer, just like absolute dominance on every level. And then, what's it called? And then on the other end, it's obviously these youngins coming up. You've got Andreescu, you've got Gauff, and you've got Osaka and Townsend. I just think it's interesting where the two sports are at, like where the sport is at for the two genders. And it's going to be a fun storyline to watch next season. I mean, stay tuned for even more on that. And with that, I think we're going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back. It's a couple of weeks now into college football. A lot of great stuff to break down. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned for more here from The Future is Female on BlazeRadioOnline.com. Welcome back. Really quick break right there. We are The Future is Female. Gabby Ducharme here with Nicole Pinter. First show of the year. We've had a great show so far. Really, really fun. We talked about our top 3 sports moments. We mentioned all about the U.S. Open, how it's just really the tale of 2 generations here with the men's team versus the women's team. And now, of course, we got to talk some college football because it
obviously
was a huge weekend. And then we're going to go into some NFL stuff. But college football, I mean, obviously, we're the Arizona State student radio station. I think we got to start off talking ASU football. Nicole, you were obviously on the board op for that on Friday night, so she was here in the studio while there were 2 boys. Shout out to Peyton and Alex for doing an awesome job on the call.
Great call.
Yeah.
By both of them, Coyle especially.
Yeah, especially just shout out to both of
them. Making a really boring
it.
Game exciting is really hard to do, and they did a great job.
Especially football because it's like 3 hours long.
It was the longest game of my life to sit in here for, but it was good. Basically, what I did is I just threw them to commercial, brought them back, got to do a little pregame, halftime, postgame show.
Yeah.
Really fun. But let's talk about the game. I mean, there's a lot. Listen,
there's a lot of implications from it, but it wasn't a very interesting game.
There's a lot of not good implications from it too, because I kind of wish we were on air last week because I would have said this last week too. The defense was not as impressive to me as I thought. I feel like I'm in the minority in that. I feel like everyone thought the defense was so great. I'm like, Kent State helped us look great on defense. We couldn't wrap up on tackles. I mean, Kent State, it was 10-0 at halftime in that game. And then the Sac State game wasn't that much better. What was it at halftime? 6-0?
Yeah, it was 6-0 because we had 4 field goals. It was 12-0.
Missed opportunities.
Oh my God. That was
the
story of the game.
Only 1 touchdown. Could have been another fumbled at the goal line. And that was a clear fumble, if you ask me. Excuse me. I mean, I got to a point where I'm like, can Sac State just win this game? Because they deserve it. You see, as a resident Michigan fan, I now highly respect and root for FCS teams. So I don't have to tell you why.
I was about to say, can you give us a reason?
Nope, you don't.
Oh, folks, she's giving me the finger right now. Nicole, you know what? You get the finger back.
You know the flipping reason, and it's not the finger you think it is. Just calm down.
No. She's like pointing at me, like basically giving me the shush sign.
Because I don't need to tell you why. So I highly respect and root for FCS teams now almost every occasion, even the lower level FBS teams. I root for upsets all the time because I've seen all my teams upset at least once before and at a very high cost. So not that this would have been the same magnitude as said game, I don't need to mention. They deserve to win this game. Kevin Thompson, their quarterback, was playing lights out. I think the ASU defense was just good enough to get by. But when it became 12-7, I was like, can they just win this game? Like, I would not mind if they won this game at all. Because it was really pathetic. I don't know how else to tell you. I mean, Jaden Daniels threw for 300 yards, and they only had one touchdown. And don't get me wrong, Jaden Daniels has looked great. His presence in the pocket has been outstanding. But the offensive line has been
phenomenal.
But the offensive line has been so terrible that he needs to have that presence. So it's not doing them any justice that Jaden Daniels has to run around. And the scary thought I had was that Jaden Daniels looked like Manny Wilkins. And actually, shout out to Jake Rose, he said this first. He looked like Manny Wilkins out there. Without the hurdles, of course. Credit to him for that. He just wanted to hurdle. He looked like Manny Wilkins with better awareness and better decision making.
Well,
but he looks great, but this team isn't there yet.
Well, here's the thing. This team, because I went to the game and it was boring to watch because you felt like the implications that this team has, like, I feel like they don't have a very good offensive line. They cannot really protect Jaden Daniels, and he's a 6'3", 180-pound true freshman quarterback who likes to run. He is going to get demolished
Not
next
as much
weekend
as Manny Wilkins, but he does like to run.
But you get what I mean, like
right.
They're going to East Lansing next weekend, and credit to Nicole, you said this first, the stadium is going to literally move because the crowd will be so crazy.
It will be full. Unlike, I'm not knocking the ASU student section at all here. It's more, no one's at the games. It's really hot. I don't blame you. I wasn't going to go to this game. I wasn't going to go to last week's game because it was Sac State, so I really don't blame anyone that wasn't there.
You also need to remember we had a Thursday night and a Friday night game, so they're not on Saturdays yet,
right.
Which is just weird. Usually you don't start off the first 2 weeks of the season, Thursday night, Friday night, both at home. But, this game, I would see Daniels make these incredible plays where he would throw it 60 yards downfield, or I would see Benjamin go up the middle and just absolutely juke out, every defensive lineman, and I would think in my head, oh, they're going to score. Oh, wait. It took them until 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter to score.
A touchdown, that is.
Yeah, to score a touchdown, should I say. Let's be specific. They scored 4 field goals. Shout out to the kicking team, I guess, of ASU for being great.
And the backup kicker.
Yeah, and the backup kicker, by all means. I want to ask you, what do you think their biggest issues will be going into Michigan State next weekend?
I think they're going to be rattled. And like you said, that I said, there's going to be green and white everywhere. I'm sure there will be some gold because, actually, maybe, we'll see. I forgot it's cold there. But it's going to be green and white, filled with green and white. Stadium's going to be rocking most of the game because they are playing a team like ASU, a school like ASU, I should say. But they're not going to know what hit them. I think Michigan State, this is not the Michigan State they played last year, who struggled to a 6-6, 7-5 record. This is a pretty good Michigan State team. So if we're going predictions, I think Michigan State wins this weekend. I think they win. I think ASU kind of lets them run up the score. I don't think it's going to be high scoring, but I made this prediction in one of my classes because we get a Starbucks gift card if we win. So I'll go with the same score prediction. Michigan State 45, ASU 17, and I think they score that extra touchdown. Like I think it's 45-10 with like 3 or 2 minutes to go. They score that extra touchdown in garbage time. Like woohoo, we did it. But I don't think I don't see ASU winning this weekend. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Oh my God, please prove me wrong. Please give me something fun to talk about for an hour next week.
Especially since it's Michigan State. Prove me wrong. I'd love to see Michigan State lose to ASU again. Are you kidding? But, I mean, that being said, if they win, I'm not completely mad because, Big Ten.
Okay, yeah, this little game she's playing of
it's not a game. I'm rooting for.
No. Hey.
I wasn't mad when Ohio State beat FAU. I wasn't mad when they beat Cincinnati. I wasn't mad.
So here's the thing.
I would have been happy if they lost.
You are a homegrown Michigan fan.
Correct.
But you root for the entire Big Ten, and I'm looking at it.
I want my conference to be good. Don't you want the Pac-12 to be good?
I want the Pac-12 to be good, but that's like me rooting for USC when they go up against a BCS team. I'm still gonna root against USC if they go up against a freaking BCS team.
Oh, listen, if Ohio State, let me put it this way: I wanted Cincinnati to be Ohio State. I thought it'd be funny because Cincinnati's head coach is Luke Fickell, and I thought that'd just be really funny. Okay.
But you don't have true allegiance to Michigan.
You are so false. Oh my God! But I'm not arguing this point with you.
Because you're like, oh yeah, go Big Ten, and I'm thinking in my head, we go to ASU, and you love Michigan. I'm so confused.
Okay, let me explain this to you. Gabby asked me last year. Granted, actually no, this doesn't really make a difference. She asked me at a time when I was really thinking of transferring. Okay. And this doesn't make a difference. She was like,
Thank God she didn't. Let's just put it that way, because I don't have a show if she transfers. And
one man show, one man band,
show. Good Lord.
She asked me if Michigan played ASU in the Rose Bowl. Let's say. First of all, yes, I'd go. Second of all, who would you root for? Michigan, no question. And you did not like that answer at the time. But let me listen. I'm gonna finish with this, and then we're moving on to my other Michigan rant. I want the Big Ten Conference to be good, so if Michigan wins, we won in a good conference because of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee. That's the biggest reason right now, is because if the Big Ten... Bro, you do not understand. We're moving on. Okay,
shut her down. I just want to be clear. I shut her down with one word.
You didn't shut me down. Your inaccuracy was appalling. We're moving on. So let's look at how the
Apparently we're moving on, folks.
Okay, so real quick before we get to the NFL, how other top 25 teams fared. Biggest game of the weekend, I think unquestionably, was Texas LSU.
Oh, absolutely.
And I really wanted Texas to win this game, if I'm being honest, but once I saw, and this is what's it called? When you're not sure about it, you have the same routine.
You're questioning?
No, you have the same routine every time because you think it might not happen if you don't do the same routine before you do something.
Oh, you're skeptical or whatever, and
similar
like that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Why can't I think of it? But once Texas wore, so this is going back and forth between Texas and LSU is who's the real DBU, defensive back university, corners, safeties. Once I saw, I was really skeptical once I saw Texas we're the real DBU here at Texas. I was like, they're gonna lose. That you're asking to lose. Now,
didn't they end up losing?
Yes, they did. And LSU is a very good team, and they have a very good quarterback for the first time in a while in Joe Burrows. There were mistakes by Texas. Dropped pass at the goal line on 4th and goal that they should have had. Couple missed opportunities that kept them back in this game, and they really couldn't come back. But as far as who's the real DBU, it's none of y'all. Both defensive backs, both cornerbacks were not good the other night. So as far as who's the real DBU, I think that's still up for debate. And no, I'm not saying it's Ohio State because I just can't. It's not Michigan either, don't get me wrong. But as far as I'm concerned, it wasn't Texas or LSU. If we're looking at history, it's LSU. Yeah. But as far as this season, wasn't either of them. But any thoughts?
I mean, well, honestly, here's the thing. Texas football has always annoyed me. It has always annoyed me because every single year, dating back to the Colt McCoy days.
Oh, I loved Colt McCoy. Me and my brother were makeshift Texas fans.
Oh my gosh. I don't blame you. But
We love
ever
Texas.
since then, they've never really been like Texas football. Like, I'm waiting for them to dominate the Big 12, and I'm waiting
They
for
should
them.
have won the Big 12 last year. Hot take. Go on.
Well, I'm waiting
should've
for
won that
them.
game.
I'm waiting for them to actually do something that is noteworthy. I'm waiting for them to not be, like 8-4 or
That's fair.
9-3. And every single year, it feels like they're ranked like number 16, number 17, and every analyst is like, "This is the year. Watch out. Texas has a dominant defensive line. Texas has this. Texas has that. It's the heart of college football. They're a college football town. They have Texas A&M, and they make all these big, bold predictions. And then at the end of the year, people sit questioning, wondering why the Longhorns are 8-4 and not 12-0. And it just feels like it's a team that's built on stuff from the past. It feels a lot like UCLA.
That's fair.
Like, UCLA as an institution is always built on stuff from the past. Like, UCLA men's basketball is built on stuff from 20 years ago. They're not really built on what they are now, which is a mediocre at best Pac-12 basketball team that loses in the round of 64. Texas feels a lot like that. They are built on stuff that happened 15 years ago, 12 years ago, and I'm waiting to see if this program will actually ever become really legitimate and compete for national titles like they're always predicted to compete for.
Well said. Before we get to the Pac-12, let me just talk to the audience here real quick. For all three of you listening, maybe four, maybe none. I don't know. I love our show. I love Blaze Radio. Don't get me wrong. Michigan
Doing a great job promoting our ASU student station, number 4 in the nation.
Okay, let me just tell all of you in Taylor Mall right now. I'm just being honest with myself. Michigan struggles, and they're clearly offensive. Defensive, I think, I didn't realize how much missing. I knew Rashawn Gary and Devin Bush going on to the NFL and Chase Winovich, was going to be a big loss, but I did not think it would be this big. Past 2 weekends, the defense has struggled, but in their defense, the offense hasn't put them in a good spot. Shea Patterson, last week against Army, I'm sure you all watched. I'm sure you all tuned in once you learned Army might beat Michigan because you're excited for that kind of stuff. Because everyone hates Michigan. But I understand. But Shea Patterson, 2 of the 3 turnovers in the first half were Shea Patterson fumbling the ball. One of them, he was rushed and he just literally dropped it. I think the struggles really come from, one, they're trying to do a 2-quarterback system, who at the end of last year, I really loved Dylan McCaffrey. I thought he should have started over. I wish he didn't break his collarbone and could have come in for that game against you-know-who at the end of the year. Both of them, if we're being honest, the last 2 games. He hasn't looked as good this year either. And Shea Patterson, he still looks scared from when we played that team down south. So,
Are you talking about Ohio State?
I don't know her, but yeah. But the second thing, they're okay. Sorry, I didn't finish the first thing. First thing, they're trying to run this 2-quarterback system. It's really not working because we're trying to keep Dylan McCaffrey from entering the transfer portal because that's a really huge thing right now, and Michigan doesn't want to lose him, and I completely undernd. I just thought he
McCaffrey, is he related to Christian?
Yes,
Younger
ma'am.
brother?
Yep. So I thought he'd be, neither of them have looked good. Second thing is the new offense was Josh Gaddis, who was at Alabama. He was a co-offensive coordinator. It just hasn't been working so far, and I thought he was the thing that was really going to fix it. He hasn't so far. Offense has struggled, defense has struggled. I was very convinced Army was going to win on that last-second field goal. When the announcers say, "Oh, they won't. Oh, he's never kicked it from this far." Wow, this is like the perfect time for him to kick it that far, isn't it? That's usually how it happens. So
You never know until you test your limit, and I think his
Exactly.
limit was tested the other day.
And he had the distance, too. It was just off the mark. So I was almost right, sadly. But we'll see. Michigan has a very lucky bye week coming up before they go to Wisconsin, who has had 2 shutouts the past 2 games. We'll check back in with me throughout the season.
Stay tuned for more rants from Nicole about Michigan football.
Currently, I'm very worried, if I'm being completely honest. We'll see. Real quick before we got to move on to NFL, big week 1. How's the Pac-12 looking so far? Oregon lost their opener to Auburn. They really blew that lead. Not good.
Yeah, they did.
Cal upset Washington this past week, who was one of our top Pac-12 teams that we kind of need to be good. See, I thought this last year. We should all just come together and be like, you're winning the Pac-12 this year. Everybody just make sure they win and they get in the playoff. I don't care who that is.
But then what does that do, like, for recruitment and stuff? Like,
I'm joking.
You know, like, yeah, that's true.
We don't need to go down that road. But I think Utah struggled against BYU and Northern Illinois University for a little bit there.
Well, here's the thing.
ASU
UCLA struggled. They lost
They're
to
0-2.
SDSU. They're 0-2 right now. My Bruins are not off to a very hot start in
Can't
this
relate.
ball game.
I'm just kidding.
Or in this,
I'm just kidding.
this
I
season.
kind of can.
Yeah, please stay tuned for my rants every week on UCLA football. Let's see if they can get their act together in week 3.
Chip Kelly.
They have to go on the road to Oklahoma, so that's going to be
Wait, do they
fun.
really?
Yes, they do.
Wow.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Thank God I have a break. Otherwise, both of us would have been really broken up after next week.
They lost 44-10 last year to Oklahoma.
Oh, that was the beginning of their struggles. Aww.
Oh, yeah.
USC, JT Daniels is down for the rest of the season, torn
God.
ACL. Their freshman quarterback actually looked really, really good.
Yeah, he did.
Beating Stanford, another top 25 team that's down. We'll keep you up to date. We'll make the Pac-12 segment a little longer next week. First week jitters, if you will, and also my rants. And
multiple rants.
I have another one in a couple minutes, but we don't have a lot of time. Quick NFL rundown, and Gabby, I'll get to you. Patriots look dominant, and they're adding AB. Josh Gordon had a dominant touchdown in the game in the first quarter. Steelers struggled mightily, only putting up 3 points. Super Bowl contender favorites, Cleveland Browns, struggled really, really bad against Houston. The Titans. Mariota was 14-24, 248 yards, 3 touchdowns, while Mayfield was 25-38, 285 yards, and 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. There's not much you can say. It was bad, but no one was as bad as the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, God.
Lamar Jackson threw more touchdowns and incompletions. Complete domination for him. It was incredible. We'll get to the Bears-Packers in a second because I'll rant about that in our final closing statements. Gabby, give me your thoughts on NFL Week 1.
NFL Week 1. Patriots with Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown. I have it in parentheses, and I'm going to say it here. God help us all. Josh Gordon has been suspended 5 times in his career, and it's been quite a fun experience so far watching the Patriots dominate, and now they're going to add the best wide receiver in the league.
All right, quick Bears rant because we got to go. I don't know why the Bears didn't give the ball to David Montgomery, their second-round pick. We drafted him for a reason. He was right there. Don't make Mitch Trubisky throw the ball 50 times, and I think we'll be fine. The Bears' defense looked great. Both teams looked bad. Run the ball. Don't give it to Cordell Patterson on 4th and 1. I promise you Mike Davis or David Montgomery could have made that. That was a rant session there. That does it for us, though, in Week 1.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Gonna be a really, really fun time this season. Stay tuned for even more. We're The Future is Female. I'm Gabby Ducharme, Nicole Pinter. We'll see you guys next week at 3:30 on BlazeRadioOnline.com.